friends, welcome to Inktober Day 11, 2018. The prompt for today is, I stacked a bunch of teacups high to try and catch that butterfly spy. Now, this is the one that I was talking about ages ago, like 11 days ago. Feels like a year. This was the one that Steve and I were discussing, and we both had very different ideas about what was going on in this prompt, and I'll explain why I think that's really great in a second. Ultimately, Steve said that he thought Daisy stacked up all these teacups because she was trying to catch this guy who was trying to catch all of her butterflies from her garden. And I thought, okay, I see that, but that's not what I thought. And I said, no, for me, Daisy's stacking the teacups, she's climbing up them because there's a butterfly that keeps spying on her and she's paranoid about it. So she wants to catch him. And Steve was adamant that I was wrong. He was like, no, the butterfly spy is someone who's spying on butterflies. And I said, okay, but that's your interpretation. For me, the butterfly is a spy. It was too funny that we were arguing over it. But this is why I was so excited, because people were going to take these prompts and do something different with them and going to interpret them in a way that I hadn't necessarily thought of or would never think of, or, I was so excited to see how people would interpret it, and not for any other reason than I thought it would make for a really interesting image. But then I started to think, as I'm thinking about putting this book together and how I'm going to go about it and the process and what it's going to look like and what I should really be focusing on, what I realized is that everyone creates a different page, everyone creates a different idea, but that idea also forms a narrative for Daisy and who she is as a character. And every day I've been kind of experimenting with different styles or different techniques and different looks for Daisy, because she has her characteristics. She's got her big round glasses, she's got her scallop petal motif going on, she's got her freckles and her favorite dress. Like, those are her discerning features, but she looks different all the time. And it was beyond looks all of a sudden. I thought, she's not just looking different, she's acting different based on how people draw her or what scene they draw her into. I've suddenly built a layer onto Daisy in this that makes her paranoid. Like, she's a paranoid little girl, which, maybe isn't a theme for a children's book, but I can't take it back now. I really like the piece. I'm not going to scrap it. But, for Steve, in essence, Steve built in this narrative that Daisy was protective and compassionate over her butterflies. She just really loves her garden. She doesn't want someone to take her butterflies away. So the way that people interpret the prompts, beyond what you end up drawing, you're actually building a narrative into Daisy. And that is what I'm so excited for now, especially knowing that as I get to choose the images that go into the book, the 30 images to accompany the one from my 31 days, as I choose them, I'm not going to be just building this visual spectacle that goes, that runs through the book from everyone's work. I'm also going to be building layers into Daisy's character that come from you. And I think it's really interesting too, because I thought, well, why did I draw her with a little paranoid spin? Am I paranoid? And then I'm paranoid about thinking that I'm paranoid. So I kind of just answered my own question there, but you know what I mean? There's a level of you that you're probably going to enter into Daisy's character and her narrative based on, however you think of her, however you relate to her, whether you relate to the narrator of the story, or whether you relate to Daisy, or whether you think Daisy reminds you of a grandchild or a friend you used to know. You're going to build those things in and picture her concepts through that lens. And that's something that I'm really excited to play around with as well. I will say, there's a lot of benefits to doing the challenge, but I don't want you to think of it as a challenge, nor do I want you to think of it as the only reason I'm doing this is to get chosen for a book, only because I don't want you to be disappointed if that doesn't happen. There are hundreds of entries already, and I will only choose 30. I want to try and figure out a different way to be able to incorporate, the entries that don't make it to the book, but also each entry does have to come with a scan or a high quality image, and I will talk more about that as I choose, because if you can't do the scan, then I will give you an address to send the picture to. I can scan it, but the release form for each and every image also has to be done, so I can't logistically say that I would be able to enter every single image that I've received, just because it's going to be hundreds of release forms and hundreds of images that come through the computer. The formatting is already going to be a little difficult as it is, so I wanted to let you know that that's one of my personal shortcomings, is that I don't think I'm going to be able to enter absolutely everyone, even though that is something I wish I could do. So perhaps in the future, perhaps if I end up working with a publisher one day, maybe they would know how to do it. But, you know, I'm just over here by myself trying to do the absolute ultramost plus as per. So I'm going to answer a few more questions today. These ones kind of popped up randomly on YouTube and in Facebook, just random questions. These aren't from the Q&A, but just things I thought to mention whilst I had a video to chat to you about it, kind of get them knocked out, because I'm so slack at getting back to YouTube comments right now. It is honestly way too overwhelming to answer every single question and every single platform. I have just sent out the last of the Happy Mailer boxes. I feel so relieved. Hopefully I'll have a bit more time open up now to get back to certain things, but also I thought, if I can just chat about it, I can maybe talk about some things I wouldn't necessarily write. One of the really simple ones was, what do you use to dry the layers in between you're working with the ink? Sorry, that wasn't the question, how it was asked, but that's what I'm paraphrasing. So it's a Recollections heat tool. You could use a little hairdryer, but they tend to have a stronger fan, so you'll push around the ink and the water and it can get out of control. The heat tool is very, very hot though. I think it is linked in the description box below, so you can check out the exact one that I use, but a heat tool in general, a craft heat tool, will work. Just remember to evenly distribute that heat. Don't focus it on one area, otherwise you'll light up your page. And also, if you're using a lot of water and a lot of heat, it will start to buckle the paper. So try and tape your paper down to something sturdy. I wouldn't recommend this cardboard, because ultimately cardboard can warp as well. But maybe a clipboard, if you have a wooden clipboard, that would work fantastic. And yeah, I'd just be very generous in spreading the heat around, not focusing on one area. And also remember to unplug your heat tool after you're finished, because it's not that hard to knock it off the table and start a house fire. They get very, very hot, so please be careful with those. Anyway, another one, the copyright for the images. Do people still own the rights to their work? Yes, 100%. The license that I'm asking for is just a usage license. So when you sign that release, you're just saying, I give you permission to print the image that I supplied in your book for promotional purposes and to list in for purchase. So that's all that license is. If you're not happy to sign that, that's fine. You don't have to enter your submission to the book. It is completely fine. You can still participate. You can still join, get all the encouragement and the support that you want from all the fantastic people out there that are following the challenge. But if you want to do that, if you want to be submitted for the book, I will ask when I've chosen the 30 illustrations just to submit that to submit that release form to me. And even if you're not going to, and you still want to create maybe prints or books for yourself with your work, nothing commercial, like obviously, I mean, I don't think I'm going to have this problem, but if you've got any commercial usage rights, we can have a chat. Just send me an email. But if you just want to create, like, I don't know, postcard prints, or if you want to create a little sticker set for yourself with your daisy illustrations, like, that is completely fine with me. You still retain all the rights to your work. I don't own an exclusivity contract. I don't own any kind of intellectual property rights over them. Like, it is all still your work. The release form is just a license for me to publish them. So I want you to feel very encouraged by that. I know that this is not typical for every project that happens. This is not typical for every artist that's out there, and especially artists that share like lots of products, or artists that might have their own stores and lines. I know that we all feel a different type of way about intellectual property, but for me, this project was put out there for everyone to feel encouraged and get involved. And if you want to make prints because people want to buy prints of your work, I didn't draw your daisy. I didn't draw your piece. Do you know what I mean? Like, you own that. That is your skill. That is what you've put together. I may have provided the prompts and a few, little character traits, but I can't claim any credit for that. That's something that you put together. So I am completely fine for you to reproduce that and to do whatever you want to do with that too. And if you want to make a book for your grandchildren, if you want to make a present for friends, if you want to make a little sticker sheet and put in your Etsy store, I'm so all for that. I think I love more than anything that you would feel so encouraged to share that part of yourself. It is one thing to be able to create something and feel proud of it. It's another thing to share that on social media, but it is like the ultimate thing to gift it to somebody. And as someone who's always made presents for people, and when I was younger and I couldn't afford to buy my friends things, I would just make them things. And even as an adult, I make people cards and I make presents for people. Like, I drew 3 of Steve's Christmas presents last year, or the year before. I think it was the year before. But you know what I mean? Like, to gift your creativity to someone is the ultimate personal gift. There is no price you can put on that. At one point in my life, I thought it was worthless because there was no monetary value on it. But you come to know over time that it is actually priceless, because it's a piece of someone that they don't share with everybody, or that they don't, they had to really sit down and really commit to it. It's not like you just ran to a store and bought a gift and wrapped it up and shipped it off. It's something that you took the time out of your day, your week, your month, your year to put together from a very personal place. So the fact that you would want to share that just makes me feel like tingly. I've got goosebumps all over my arms. The only thing I would ask is that you share a photo of it with me. I would just love to see that. I'd love to see what you come up with and the gift that you're going to give, or the print that you might want to sell, so that I can selfishly get in. If anyone wants to make Daisy stickers, I'm still on my sticker buying binge. So I want to encourage you in that. This is not something that I think is typical, so I don't want you to take this information and think, oh yes, every artist is free reign for no copyright laws anymore. That's not what I'm saying at all. Please don't say I said that. But for me, this is a project that obviously I came up with the prompts for, that I do have the intellectual property for, but I am releasing it to you because I don't need it. There's nothing that I need to own about this. I want to make this book because it's a book that we all get to make together. I will have my own book off to the side with my illustrations. That will be what that is. And if you want to have your prints out on Etsy, if you want to have your stickers out on Etsy or whatever Shopify platform you might have, I don't feel like there's any kind of problem with that. So, but I just have to say, that's personal, that's just for me. Please don't think that everyone is like that. You will run into some very tricky problems with some creators if you start doing that. But you could always ask. If maybe there are other people out there that would love to share that with you as well. And I don't think there's any harm in asking about intellectual property on certain things. So I think that's as much as I'll say is with that. I just wanted to clarify that yes, if you sign the release, you still own all the rights to your work and you can still do whatever you would like with them. And please don't even feel the need to... I know there was one that said, can I just say written by James Burke? You don't even need to say that. I don't think your grandchildren are going to care that I wrote it. And I certainly don't need them to know that I wrote it. If you want to put, just by you, that is completely fine with me. Again, I just want to see a photo of it. I just want to encourage you in that and feel happy for you that's what you're going to do. Honestly, nothing has made me feel happier than knowing that people might actually gift this book, their own version of this, to their family members. That's insane. I can only do so much putting this all together, but don't underestimate what you're able to do to put your own thing together. If you don't get selected for the book at the end, and that was something that you really, really wanted, you could put your own book together. You can definitely put everything that you wanted to have together, you can put that together as well. I'm not going to have any issue with that. I would love for you to do that. And I think you should. If this is your desire to see your work in print, just know that I self-published myself. I wanted to see my work in print, and so I made that first book that I put together, and it was so gratifying to see. I'm kind of cringe when I look at it now. The font choice was just awful, but you know what I mean? Don't underestimate what you're capable of too. If you can sit there and you're creative enough to put together all these prompts into fabulous pieces, I know you're creative enough to actually put the book together and get what you want to get out of this. So I'm just going to leave you with that. I've kind of run out of time to say anything else, but yeah, happy creating. Just get wild with it. Do whatever you want to do with it. This is all yours. This is all yours. This is everyone's. This is everyone's project. We're all working on it, and we all want to get something different out of it. So I would encourage you to just charge forward and get what you want to get. Whether it's support or encouragement, or you want to make some money, if you want to like secure that coin, girl, sell your prints. Like I don't mind. This is, yeah, I want to put that out there. I want you to feel encouraged. So have a fantastic day. I'll be up with a little Inktober flip later this afternoon. Bye.